everybody. Welcome to another episode of Two Throw Over Noise. I'm half the show. My name is Jeff. Joining me, my other half, that is Mark A. Johnson. Not my better half. My better half is she wouldn't like if I said that. So
it's much better.
The other half of the show, Mark A. Johnson. Mark, happy post-opening week.
Hey, it's so good. It feels like, the sun shines a little bit brighter these days and the air is a little cleaner and there's baseball going on, and that just makes Mark a happy guy.
Now, I watched a good deal of the Mariners game today, and that was not the case. It was they had to close the roof.
Not my fault. I wasn't working.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm just going to celebrate this day. I'd like to put a pin in this day because if you look at the American League West standings right now, the Oakland Athletics are not in last place.
There you go.
So yeah, we'll visit that at the end of the year and see how that stays. All right. Well, this is a first, Mark, because I am actually doing the show today in about 3/4 of a full uniform, baseball uniform.
Oh, nice.
I had practice today and it kicked my butt. I came home, I fell asleep, woke up, we're going to do a show. So I got pants on. I don't have stirrups on today. I wore long pants because I just wanted to, it was early morning, and yeah, you can find me for not wearing the stirrups, but
that's weird, Jeff, because I don't have pants on.
Again, it's a good thing we do this show remotely.
That's
all right, let's get into BP. I need to stretch again because I'm already a bit sore from practice today, but let's get right into BP. Mark, the season's underway. We're excited. A lot of new rules in place this year, one of them being the bigger bases, and the two throwovers is all that's allowed, thusly. First of all, folks, we've heard you. We've heard you on the two throwover noise rebrand, and we're with you. We love it too. So we are officially going to be rebranding the podcast. Everything will be changing to two throwover noise. Just keep your eyes out for that. That's going to happen. But there was a great article in The Athletic this last week about the bigger bases where they talked to none other than my guy, Ricky Henderson. He had some interesting things to say about the bigger bases. First of all, he didn't hate it. He said, quote, "I take an even bigger lead and go more." Ricky going more, that's an odd. I think he went pretty much all the time. But there's also a quote here from Dusty Baker about the bigger bases, and if Ricky played with him, he said, quote, "They'd never get him. He'd always be safe." Ricky said not having to deal with so many throwers from the mound would help keep him fresher as well. He said, quote, "I wish the game would just be left alone. But if they're going to make these changes, they got to add 50 or 60 on mine. That's the new rule." And then Baker said this in response to that. He said, quote, 50 or 60 a season? Like, that's probably more along the lines of, I think Ricky would get more than another 50 or 60 if he had his whole career with the new bases and the two throwover limit.
I think so too. I think he would have quite a number more.
So I've got something that we'll talk about that again here in BP down when we get to another part of this. But some of these stolen base numbers already are pretty crazy. So we'll take a look at that. We've got a lot of people, a lot of baseball fans. MLB.tv, first of all, is an incredible product. It's changed the way that sports streams, and by that I mean that streaming is used. MLB.tv was the first streaming service for a major sport. It is a great product. It's incredible that I can watch any game from the last couple of seasons, this season, at any time. I can choose what broadcast I want. I can, just do a ton of stuff with it. But blackouts are still a thing, obviously. And so as long as blackouts are a thing, MLB.tv sucks.
That's right.
But there is a bipartisan bill that was put in front of Iowa lawmakers last week. And it introduces, the bill is introducing a plan to banning MLB TV blackouts in the state of Iowa.
Ooh.
So this is just Iowa. But despite paying for MLB.tv, people in Iowa are unable to watch the Minnesota Twins, the Milwaukee Brewers, the Chicago Cubs, the Chicago White Sox, the St. Louis Cardinals, and the Kansas City Royals.
So the whole league. Okay.
It's basically the whole central division almost of both leagues. So if all 6 of those teams played 6 different teams, that's 40% of Major League Baseball on a specific day that nobody in Iowa could watch.
That's ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. They'd have to just watch the Iowa Cubs. I think there's a couple of other minor league teams, and well, there might have been since MLB slashed them all. I don't know how many are left, but I think that's ridiculous. I hope fans in Iowa get this. It was put forward by one of the lawmakers as a former minor league baseball player, so he's got some skin in the game there. All right, let's see. Vernon Wells. You remember Vernon Wells, Mark?
The painter or the outfielder?
Was there a painter named Vernon Wells?
Sure.
Okay, I'll take your word for it. No, the Vernon Wells that played 15 years in the big leagues, 3-time All-Star, won a Silver Slugger, and 3 Gold Gloves in the outfield. That Vernon Wells, if that answers your question.
Yes, I certainly do remember him.
Well, you can add a new accomplishment onto that list that I just read. He is now the head football coach at Cooleyville Covenant High School.
Nice.
Pretty impressive. He has been at this high school for a while. He's been the baseball coach and he's been the associate head coach with the football team. But now it's all his. He played as a quarterback in high school, along with obviously baseball. But congratulations to Vernon Wells. There's a name of somebody that right in our sweet spot that is doing something a little bit different. Mark, here's another name. I'm not sure if you're familiar with Lars Nootbaar. You heard of this guy?
Oh, heard of this guy. Yeah.
It wouldn't be a Two Strike Noise episode if we don't talk about Lars Nootbaar at some point, right? Well, he has officially retired the pepper grinder. It's done. He's moved on. He's got a new thing. I can't say it's the most original thing, but he's now doing the salt shaker. Okay. So, yeah, I can already see the future here. Next year, it's going to be the ketchup bottle. Maybe Heinz might want to get in on that for a sponsorship opportunity. But like he could, hit the bottom of it or stick a knife up in there and kind of root around in there. Maybe Hershey's chocolate syrup. You can squirt it all around. I got plenty of ideas, Lars, if you want to hit me up. I think we can get some money for some sponsorship opportunities here. But, well, this is another thing that works in Lars' favor. Since the World Baseball Classic started, Lars has gained over 1 million followers on social media.
Nice.
Now, I'm embarrassed to say I don't think I follow Lars on any media. He's probably been trying to get a hold of us and doesn't know how.
That must be, I'm sure.
Yeah,
we've been on the Lars bandwagon for quite a while.
Well, I mean, we've got the email address. He could certainly hit us up there.
That's true, and I've been checking, and he hasn't written yet.
Oh. Hold on till the end of the show. We'll give you the email address, Lars.
There you go.
All right, let's see, the Yankees. So we got to talk about the Yankees a little bit because we're big Yankees fans here. Sure. The Yankees have asked MLB if they can stop issuing uniform numbers to their manager and coaches because, frankly, they're just running out of numbers.
They're going to have to go with decimals pretty soon.
Well, this is what I thought. Now, soccer coaches usually have their initials on their jacket or their sweats or whatever they wear during a game. So, that's something. Or maybe the Yankees could just not retire every single player's number.
That's not a bad idea right there.
Yeah, I mean, this guy came up and played 3 games with us in 2003. Let's go ahead and retire his number. Maybe.
Yeah. There's got to be still. They can get up into the 70s and 80s. What's the big embarrassment with that?
Well, I know Andrew Volpe, their shortstop. Was he like 21 or maybe he's 18? I don't know, but
he's 12. Yeah,
yes, he's really good. He's number 11. They gave him the lowest number that they could, and it was 11.
So that player goes to 11.
Yeah, I was going to say some Yankee fan better have a "this one goes to 11" sign out there on that opening day. Yeah, I like the Mariners. There's a sentence I've never said before in my life. I like the Mariners though because they say you don't get your number retired unless you're in the Hall of Fame. I like that.
Right. Yep.
Yeah. Otherwise, you just get a gold watch and a hearty handshake, and thank you. That's it. All right, Mark, I talked about I wanted to talk about some stolen base stuff here. A couple of opening day firsts. So Opening day, really the only day you're going to get these things where everybody's hyper-focused on it and said, oh, this hasn't happened since 1802 when they were playing Rounders in Manchester. But everybody can kind of focus on what goes on in that day. Adley Rutschman, catcher, stud for the Orioles. First catcher in the entire history of baseball to have 5 hits on opening day.
That's pretty impressive. I think he might have a chance at being good.
Yeah, between he and Gunnar Henderson, I think they've got a good 80s hair metal band forming as well. Oh. They've got some good flow. I like that. But I mentioned stolen bases. There were 21 stolen bases on Thursday on opening day. Most on an opening day since 1907.
Wow.
Last year, 6.
No way.
Yeah. The success rate was 91.3. Runners were 21 for 23 on stealing bases on opening day. Now, it is a little skewed. I mean, the bases, yes, but MLB this year wanted to make sure that every team was playing on opening day. Usually, you get a handful or maybe half the teams play one day and then the next day the other half. But this was different. Everybody played 21 stolen bases, 1907. Pretty cool.
That is actually very cool.
The average time of game on opening day, 2 hours and 45 minutes.
Not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad. It's not the 2.5 that everybody was talking about during spring training. It was also just one day.
We'll get there.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that the Mariners game, I think it was on Friday, took 8 hours and 4 minutes. But then the next day it took 2 hours and 4 minutes.
203 was it was awesome.
Did you work that game?
I did. I enjoyed that very much.
And you don't get paid by the hour. You get paid by the game. So you are
correct.
Living right there.
My hourly wage went up.
Yeah, you got a raise that one game.
Mm-hmm.
Violations on opening day. There were 14 total pitch or batter violations, 8 by pitchers, 4 by batters, 1 by the catcher, and 1 by the base runner, which was ridiculous. That was by Pete Alonso, who had run on a play, and it was a foul ball, and the umpire said he just took too long to get back to the bag. So Jeff McNeil, who was at bat, ended up getting a strike on him for no reason. And then promptly singled on the next pitch, but still, that's...
No harm, no foul, I guess.
Yeah, it's kind of a dick move, though. You're Jeff O'Neill, you're in the hole when you didn't have anything to do with it.
Oh, it is, yes, but he made the most of it. That's.
All right, Mark, this show is debuting on April 4th. There's just a ton of great names that made their debut on April 4th, but this is an hour show, so we're going to cut it down to just a couple. First of all, 1974, Hurricane Herb Washington made his debut for the Oakland Athletics.
Nice.
Pinch runner supreme.
That's right.
105 career games, 0 at-bats, 31 stolen bases, 17 caught stealing. So really not that great.
But he was fast.
He was fast, yeah. Get this, he was doing sports on Channel 6 in Lansing, Michigan, when he got a message from Charlie Finley. He thought it was a joke at first, and then he got a page, so it was serious.
Ooh.
And said, this was the quote, "Herbie, I want you to play baseball and be a pinch runner." And from there, history was made.
That's such a funny story. What an idea. That's Charlie for you, though. All
right. Also, 1984, Brett Saberhagen makes his debut. 2 Cy Youngs, 1985 World Series and 1985 World Series MVP, threw a no-hitter in 1991, and is also on record as being the only major league player that has ever gone so hard on a track about a pickup truck.
Cause they got the trucks that are on the ball. From work to play, they've got it all. They've got a base, that's a real steal. And here's another very good deal. Or choose the truck named after me, the special edition Ford MVP.
I will never miss an opportunity to play that.
No word, man. Word to your mother.
He just That's just classic right there. Brett Saberhagen. Now get this.
Gangster rap, man. That is gangster rap right there.
Now, that's late 80s, early 90s rap right there.
He was an innovator.
Yeah, well, I can just imagine. I want to pretend like he wrote that because he raps it like a guy named Brett Saberhagen would write a rap. I'll put it that way. Yeah. Let's see. Going from one show icon to another, 1988, Brady Anderson made his debut. We know about Brady and his sideburns. If you listen to this podcast for any length of time, you know that Brady absolutely wowed Hollywood in an episode of Sabrina the Teenage Witch. And of course, we all know about Brady's 50 home runs in 1996. But a couple of other things that are really pretty cool about Brady that I'm not sure that we've talked about. Brady hit a leadoff home run on April 18th. This is during the 1996 season. Then he did it again on April 19th. Then he did it again on April 20th. And then he did it again on April 21st.
Wow.
4 consecutive days he hit a leadoff home run. That is impressive.
That is amazing. Yeah, no doubt.
All right, some other things here. Brady was hit by a pitch twice in the same inning in 1999. The first player in the American League to ever have that happen to him.
How lucky and unfortunate.
Well, his on-base percentage certainly went up.
Yeah, that's why it's both.
Yeah. Also, in the history of Major League Baseball, there have only been 2 players that have stolen 50 or more bases in a season during their career and also hit 50 or more home runs in a season. Obviously, a different season. Those 2 guys, Barry Bonds, Brady Anderson. Also married to like a 20-year-old K-pop.
That's right.
So I mean, he's living a good life. I'm not gonna lie.
He's Brady.
He's Brady. Okay, and our final debut, also making his debut in 1988 today, is none other than Spuds McKenzie himself, Chris Sabo.
One of my favorites.
Yeah. So in high school, Sabo, not only a great baseball player, also a hockey goalie and a golfer. He would have fit right in with Tom Glavine. Those are Tom Glavine-like stuff. So when we think of Spuds, 2 things come to mind, right? The goggles and the high and tight haircut.
Yes.
The origin of the haircut was that he was in a lengthy slump. And so he got it. Of course, he started to hit. The haircut stayed forever. The goggles, however, this was tied to how he played. He needed glasses because he couldn't see. That's why people generally wear glasses. But he preferred the goggles over just regular science teacher glasses of the day or contacts because they protected his eyes better when he slid head first, which is how he used to go into bases. So that's how he decided he needed to wear those rec specs. In his early years in the minors also, Spuds, a little bored with the downtime while playing in Tampa in the instructional league, he picked up a second job. Flipping burgers. He worked at McDonald's on his off day.
Oh my gosh.
And of course, I think my favorite thing, it's my favorite thing to hear from him. I don't like the circumstances because after the Reds swept the A's in the 1990 World Series, I think Chris Sabo had his first ever beer during the World Series parade. And then somebody stuck a mic in front of him and this happened.
I'd like to thank everybody because you guys are pretty good. And I'd just like to say that no one gave us a chance. We kicked their ass in 4 straight, and that's all I got to say. And all I think, we kept our mouths shut. We just went out there and proved it on the field. They can talk all they want, but they're gonna sit home all winter, and they know they don't got nothing because we got the ring, and we got the money, and we got everything. Thank you.
God, that is just the best. First of all, he says, that's all I got to say. And then he goes on for another 30 seconds.
That's all I got to say, except for a few more things.
And then he's like, we kept our mouths shut. And then he continues to talk smack for another 20 seconds. Wow, I do remember my first beer. I was a little chatty after it. But
he must have really enjoyed it.
That is one of my favorite clips. But there we go. There's some of the debuts. Like I said, there's literally a metric ton of them. I mean, this is kind of more of a traditional opening day date of April 4th, but I had to just slim them down to a couple that were kind of in the 70s and 80s. Maybe next show that we do that debuts on April 4th, I'll get some more recent ones. So in like 6 years, 7 years, we'll do that.
There you go.
All right, that's it for our BP segment. Mark, the grounds crew going to come out here. They're in tuxes today because it's opening day. This is a special day. Do the Mariners grounds crew still do that on opening day?
No, they didn't seem to. They didn't do it.
They were just in yellow stained T-shirts and cut off jean jorts.
I you know what? I'm going to be honest. I didn't pay attention.
You know, that this is one of the things that is really going to hurt baseball with the pitch clock and trying to get the game moving. No more grounds crew doing the YMCA. I don't think there's enough time anymore.
There is not enough time. And
I, for one, am here for it.
They can do a shorter song.
I was watching highlights of our favorite, the Ham Fighters, because they opened their new stadium. And their cheerleaders came out in between innings and did an entire dance routine to What Does the Fox Say? Nice. So really the cutting edge of music. I think, 2008 called and they want their song back. But anyway, let's wrap up BP. Mark, you've got some stuff to talk about this week. Why don't you go ahead and take over?
Yeah, I was reading up on sort of the history of the minor leagues and the minor league agreements with Major League Baseball. Came across some interesting stuff. If you go way back to the 1800s, we've talked about a few dozen of them. There were so many baseball leagues, numerous professional baseball leagues. They didn't work together. Some were barnstormers. Some cities had 3 or 4 teams and so on, and they didn't have any sort of agreement in place, so they just swiped each other's players. They would, I'm signing this guy from that league and this guy's coming from that league, and contracts quite often not honored, not looked at, and people just kind of went all over the place, and it was pretty chaotic. The National and the American League have been stealing players from each other for years. In 1901, a bunch of smaller leagues band together to form the National Association of Professional Baseball Leagues. That remained the major organization of minor league teams all the way until the 1990s, which the affiliated minors decided to trademark and call themselves the minor league baseball. They call themselves minor league baseball. So it's interesting that it's pretty much the same organization that's been around for over 100 years. They came up with the idea to honor other leagues' contracts. And they came up with an idea to allow for upward player mobility. So, if one team had so many great players that they were keeping good players in the minors that should have been big leagues, they came up with this thing called the Rule 5 draft. This was 1903, and it's still going on today.
Yeah, 1903, the Rule 5 draft. Wow.
Do you believe that? Rule 5. And I was reading up on some of the Rule 5 draft picks just to kind of go into it in case the Rule 5 draft isn't something that everyone completely understands. There's a 40-man roster in the major leagues, and there's a 25-man roster. The 25-man roster is your team that goes out, or it's a 26 now, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where that's your team that goes out and puts on the uniforms and plays baseball. The 40-man roster is for you to protect players so they can't be signed by other teams and so on. Now, if you've got a player that's not on the 40-man roster and he has been with the team for more than 3 seasons, then if he's unprotected, he's eligible for what they call the Rule 5 draft. And another team can snag him, pay $100,000 and put him on their team. Problem is he has to stay on that team's 25-man roster for the whole season, or he gets offered back to the team he was drafted from. Does that kind of summarize it, Jeff, or do you have anything else to add?
No, that's perfect. That's incredible. 1903. I would have never thought that something like the Rule 5. To me, that seems like something that would have come around in 1996.
Yeah, you would think something like that, but no, or even I wouldn't be shocked if it was the 70s, but no, 100 years. It's just for some examples of, I found here some minor league or some Rule 5 players that were pretty notable, even some Hall of Famers, if you can believe that.
Ooh.
A guy named Christy Mathewson was selected by the Cincinnati Reds from the Norfolk Phenoms in 1900, the Rule 5 draft.
Wow.
How about this one? Hack Wilson.
Ah.
The Cubs took him from the Toledo Mud Hens in 1925.
Wow.
believe that? And here's one. This one blew me away. The Pittsburgh Pirates selected from the Brooklyn Dodgers, first pick of the Rule 5 draft in 1954, Mr. Roberto Clemente.
Wow. Those.
Can you believe that? I mean, those are some. They must have protected some darn good ball players.
Yeah, incredible to not protect Christy Mathewson or Roberto Clemente.
Some other guys that you might have heard of: George Bell, Bobby Bonilla was a Rule 5 pick. Jason Gurley, Kelly Gruber, Josh Hamilton, Jeff Nelson, another hero of the show.
Yeah,
Bip Roberts, Dan Uggla, Shane Victorino.
How about this one? Johan Santana.
Johan Santana was
good one.
He pitched a full season on the Twins, and stayed on there and didn't do so well. But he made the team, made it through the full season. They kept him, and wow, he became Johan Santana.
Let me ask you this, Mark, regarding Rule 5 players. Yeah. I know the Rule 5 players that have been on the A's, and like Mark Canha was a Rule 5 pick from the Marlins. Mm-hmm. And I love Mark Canha. Do you remember any Rule 5 players with the Mariners that have lasted the whole year?
I do not.
Yeah, I was thinking about the whole, that stuck.
Yeah,
like
forever.
Canha stuck and, was with the A's for 5 years.
Every Rule 5 draft pick in Mariners history.
Wow.
Will Vest, Johan Ramirez, Brandon Brennan, David Rollins, Lucas Luetge. That was a bad news.
Well, there's a name I know.
Yeah. R.A. Dickey. And Jeff Houston was taken from the Colorado Rockies, but he was released that July. Yeah, nothing huge jumps out as far as Mariners Rule 5 picks, but there was some guys that played some Mariner ball. After they started getting on and making agreements, they started making developmental contracts with the minor league teams, affiliating with them personally, and specifically these are our affiliates. Well, one guy just figured out that it's going to be less expensive and a lot easier to do if he owned all the affiliates himself. That was not looked up on highly initially, but it was Branch Rickey. Said, well, I'm just going to develop my own minor leagues and my own minor league teams. And baseball didn't like that. They just didn't think it was right. But pretty soon everybody realized that really was the way to go. And so you started building up a AAA, AA, a couple of single A teams. Nowadays, you've got the complex teams that play in Arizona Fall League, Florida, and teams or leagues that are run by the major leagues that are in foreign countries as well. So there's all kinds of different minor leagues now but back then it was Branch that came up with the idea of having the entire organization in one column of big leagues through the minors. So I thought that was pretty cool. Branch Rickey, not a dumb guy when it comes to baseball.
I think he had some smarts. Yeah.
Yeah, he did a few pretty smart things. Up until then, they had all major leagues and minor leagues had worked hand in hand. The minor leagues would pay part of the player's salary. The big leagues would pay the rest of it. And 1990, things kind of went real dramatic. The owners decided they were going to make huge changes. Major League Baseball strongly suggested that its team not extend player development contracts into 1991. Because they were talking about, hey, why don't we just do all spring training for our minor leagues and then do everything in the minor leagues spring training complex? Well, it didn't come to that. Minor league kind of held their nose and signed the deal that major leagues offered them. It ended up not being so bad. What happened was there was a lot of requirements for facilities. And they couldn't play in just crummy old baseball stadiums anymore. They had to be required and to have a nice stadium and so on. And that actually led up to the big boom of all the cool little minor league ballparks that we have now. So there was a positive that came out of it. More attendance in the minors now because of the boom of the cool parks in Tacoma. We redid Cheney Stadium, and it's a really cool place to go and hang out now.
Are they still giving bread away as a at the gate at Cheney Stadium?
I haven't seen bread at the gate at Cheney Stadium in a while, but boy, those were the good old days.
That brings the kids in. I'm going to tell you.
Well, the upgraded facilities meant a lot more money coming in for the minor league teams. And eventually Major League the major league teams took on sole responsibility for paying the players instead of the shared arrangement. So minor league baseball can actually make money these days, develop a lot of players, and it hasn't changed a whole heck of a lot for the past 100 years. So I just thought that was kind of interesting, especially the Rule 5 stuff. And it makes me wonder, who was the guy that said, that Christy Mathewson guy, on the Phenoms? Maybe we should grab that guy, because that was a pretty good move.
I want to know who said, hey, that Christy Mathewson guy on the Phenoms, yeah, I think we can leave him unprotected. I don't see much in him.
That, ladies and gentlemen, is a mistake. That one, and along with Roberto Clemente and Hack Wilson, those ones really cracked me up.
And Matt Manti, too. Let's not forget Manti.
Well, yeah.
But that's good. That's very topical, Mark, because I saw that just last week that MLB and the minor leagues had, the players' unions had formed some sort of CBA. So the actual pay in the minor leagues will be doubling and in some cases tripling, which is great because we've seen in the past couple of years how little money these guys make and how they just struggle to get by. They're not paid for half of the time they work, spring training or during the off season, and they're surviving on bologna sandwiches from the clubhouse, and that's about it. So
yeah, these guys were getting paid monthly contracts only when they were playing ball. So winter, if you can find a spot in the Dominican League, good for you. Yeah. But otherwise, you weren't getting paid.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Let's. We should put together a Rule 5 fantasy league.
That would be awesome.
We can run
the whole list.
We can run it through Out of the Park Baseball or something and see who the best. I know who I'm going to draft as my right fielder and my pitcher. Matt Manti, of course. Yeah.
Right. And I'm going to go for Paul Blair, of course.
I was, of course, also my right fielder. I was talking about Shane Victorino, the Flying Hawaiian.
Flying Hawaiian. Yeah. Very nice.
All right, Mark, it's opening day for us, man. It's time for your defense is on. First of all, you're opening at home, right? Because the World Series champs usually open at home. But there's nobody here. Your fans have gotten tired of winning.
What can we do,
Yeah, I mean, you could let me win. I'm saying lay down.
There is that.
Yeah. The 4-time defending champion at Wax Packs Heroes, Mark A. Johnston. I have yet to really even come close to winning. You know what? These preseason exhibition games that we've done the last couple of weeks, I've done pretty well in. So I'm curious to see, typically how you perform in spring training as a team does not affect what happens in the regular season at all. So I'm not remotely. I'm not really too excited about it. But it is time for that part of the show. So let's head in to the final segment. It is time for Wax Packs Heroes.
Wax Pack Hero! Gotta pull a Wax Pack Hero! Don't stars in his eyes. Wax Pack Hero! On a podcast tonight.
All right. Mark, we've got the leftovers from the pack from last week because it was one of those big super packs from Topps in 2003. So we're going to go ahead and finish these off. We've got 8 cards each, so a little bit of an abbreviated one today. You have chosen the bottom 8, so I'm going to take the top, and I am going to actually go first this week because that worked for me during the off season. And I'm sure won't carry over, but we're going to try it anyway. If you are new here, this is how we do it. We've got these cards from 2003. We are going to look at them. We're going to take the baseball reference WAR of the card, in this case 2003 from the player. We'll add those up and at the end see who wins, but we've got a couple of extra things that will add or subtract points to that. If there's anything on the player's face in the card, like a mustache, eye black, glasses, anything like that, they get an extra 1/10 of a point of WAR. If they're wearing real stirrups where we can see sanitary socks underneath, that's an extra 1/10 of a point. But if they're wearing the 2-in-1s, that's a minus a 1/10 of a point. Any awards that they won that year, Rookie of the Year, Cy Young, if they were an MVP, an All-Star, or won a Gold Glove, that's a 1/2 a point each. If there's a Hall of Famer on the card, whether they're the focus or not, that is a +1. If Ricky Henderson is pulled, which has happened recently, by myself even,
Yes.
I get 5 whole points regardless of who pulls it. If we pull a Nolan Ryan, which is tough to do in a 2003 pack, Mark gets 5 points regardless of who pulls it. If the player appears on the Mitchell report or was suspended during their playing career, that is a minus a half a point of war. If we can find any sort of acting, an IMDb page, any reference to any shows or movies that they have appeared in, they are going to get a half a point of war for that. But if they appeared in Sabrina the Teenage Witch, The Simpsons, or Seinfeld, you're going to get a whole point because we like those shows. Also, Mark, you and I are going to pick a team. If either of us pulls my team, I get a half a point. Your team, you get a half a point. Who are you going to go with this week?
I'm still enthralled with the Saberhagen rap, so I'm going to go with the Royals.
All right. Well, you know what? I'm going to go with our boy that just drank his first beer. I'm going to go with the Reds then.
There you go.
Let's see. Well, and you can't watch your game if you're living in Iowa, by the way, because the Royals are. I think Cincinnati's okay in Iowa, but
that's not. I think we need to sign on. We can put a 2-strike noise endorsement on that bill that's going to open that up.
Yeah,
we fully endorse it.
That'll probably help get it through. Grease the wheels a little bit.
Yeah, I'll send an email tomorrow.
Okay.
Whoever.
Yeah, do that. Let me know how that works out. All right, my first card is shortstop for the Giants, Ramon Martinez.
That's a different Ramon Martinez.
Ramon Martinez. This is not Pedro's brother.
Yes, this is one of my a good friend of mine, Chris, who's a card collector. When he first found he wanted to collect Ramon Martinez, the other Ramon Martinez, he hadn't heard the name said, so he kept calling him Raymond Martinez. Crack me up.
I guess we've had this card before then, haven't we? Because I know you've told me that story before, and it cracks
Raymond
me up.
Martinez.
It's like Chai Rodriguez.
Chai Rodriguez, yes.
Yeah, let's see.
He owned a little dog at Chai Hua Hua.
So this Ramon Martinez, I trilled the R well and then screwed up on the Martinez. 12 years in the big leagues, 5 with the Giants, 2 with a bunch of other teams. In 2003, one of those other teams was the Chicago Cubs, where he played everywhere on the infield for 108 games. He hit 283, a 333 on base, 34 RBIs off of 3 home runs. Let's see here. That is good for an 84 OPS plus. And I'm going to start out with a minus 0.8 WAR.
That's a chunk.
I am going to say that his defense was really bad. A minus 0.8. This is off to a great start to the season.
What was the guy doing? My gosh.
I think he was left-handed, but he was playing with a right-handed glove. I can't be sure, but I think that must have been what happened. The cousin of Giovanni Soto, the catcher, who also played for the Cubs and the A's at one point.
Okay.
All right, so minus 0.8 to start out with. Really good. All right. Now, I've got a card with 3 different players on it. League leaders, National League home runs. Well, this is looking up now.
Oh, boy.
So the way that we typically do this is if there are multiple players named on the card, we pick which of the 3 or however many we want to use that player. So my players, Sammy Sosa, Lance Berkman, or Sean Green.
Oh, God.
So this is a good thing because, obviously it's a good thing. There's 3 really good players, but without looking up their numbers, I have to decide who in 2003 is going to get me the most WAR.
That's right.
Sammy hit a lot of home runs, and I have to assume he led the league this year because he's listed first. Lance Berkman hit a lot of home runs as well,
yes.
And the Killer Bees drove in a lot of runs. Sean Green was a beast. And
he was. He could hit.
I kind of want to say Sean Green might have the higher WAR.
It's possible overall. You're looking at everything.
Yeah. I think I'm going to go with Sean Green. What would you choose?
Berkman.
I can hear our listeners. Why are you not going with Sosa? Now, inevitably, Sean Green is going to have the lowest. That's just the way it goes. But
that's the way you do things.
Let's look at Sean Green first. Sean Green, 15 years in the big leagues. Let's see, a 2-time All-Star, won a Gold Glove. Unfortunately, none of those things were in the 2003 season. 2003, 160 games played, a 280 average, 355 on base, Only 19 home runs, 85 RBI, 6 stolen bases, a 116 OPS plus. Now, this card is based on 2002, which I guess I should have. That was the year he was an all-star, came in 5th in MVP, hit 42 home runs, 114 ribs, and a 154 OPS plus. So in 2003, though, he had a 2.1 WAR. So I'll take it.
Okay, yeah. It's better than minus 0.8.
Yeah, it's better than a poke in the eye. Now, let's look at Sammy Sosa for 2003. Let's see, 40 home runs, a 358 on base, a 133 OPS plus, a WAR of 2.7. So negligible.
Yeah. And what about my guy?
Lance Berkman, Big Puma or Fat Elvis. In 2003, hit 288, a 412 on base, 25 home runs, 93 ribs, 138 OPS plus, and a 5.3 WAR.
Wow, good year for him.
Yeah, so, of course, like I said, Sean Green with the lowest WAR of the three. I don't disappoint. I'm very consistent.
Give you that, man. I'll give you that.
Let's see. Sean Green, at the time of his retirement, only one of 4 active players with at least 300 home runs, 100 runs and RBIs, 400 doubles, a 280 batting average, and 150 stolen bases. The other 3, Barry Bonds, Ken Griffey Jr., and Gary Sheffield.
That's good company. Yeah,
that's pretty good. All right, well, this is kind of topical. He played for Team Israel in the 2013 World Baseball Classic.
Oh, there you go. I did not know that.
And more exciting for me is that Green has made cameo appearances on the quote series premiere of the hit show Numbers in 2005. He also appeared in the film The Core and on the Nick Cannon show. So I am going to get a half a point of WAR for that. I'll take it.
For sure.
Yeah. Moving on, my next card is another Dodger. This one, I'll let you try and spell his name. It's Mark Grudzielanek.
Mark Grudzielanek.
Harry Carey's nemesis. And when he joined the Cubs, it was not a good year for Harry. Let's see. Mark Grudzielanek, 15 years in the big leagues. 5 with the Dodgers, 4 with the Expos, 3 with the Royals, a bunch of other teams. 2003 was said first year with the Cubs. 121 games, 314 average, 3 home runs, only 38 RBI, 6 stolen bases, a 103 OPS plus, and that is good for a WAR of 2.3. I will take it.
Not bad.
Nothing else on this card is going to help me out, though, unfortunately. Oh, I think we've mentioned this before. He is a proud inductee of the National Polish American Sports Hall of Fame, located in lovely Troy, Michigan.
Nice. There you go. So, folks, if you ever get to Troy, Michigan, check it out.
Yeah, we are, by the way, I just want to mention we are sponsored by the Troy, Michigan Chamber of Commerce. Troy, Michigan, give us a try.
Please come visit.
All right. I remember this guy. He was in Atlanta while I was there. It is he's listed as a first baseman here, Wes Helms.
I do remember Wes Helms.
Wes Helms, 13 years in the big leagues, 5 with Florida, 4 with Atlanta, 3 with Milwaukee, 1 with the Phils. In 2003, it was his first year with Milwaukee. He played third base exclusively in 134 games, hit 261, 330 on base, 23 home runs, 67 ribs, a 103 OPS plus, and that is good for a 0.8 WAR. I was really hoping for more there from Wes. Let's see, Fernando Vina is in this card as well, but he is not a Hall of Famer, so that's not going to help me.
Wes Helms done a lot of coaching, managing the Chicago White Sox AAA affiliate in Charlotte. Was placed on indefinite leave for a personal issue and is still on leave.
That's curious that last year he was manager of the Charlotte Knights, because the card right before him, Mark Grudzielanek, he was the manager that Wes Helms succeeded as the manager of the Knights.
That's how you podcast, people.
That's professional podcasting. All right, I got a couple of cards left here. Next, outfielder for the Milwaukee Brewers. Ooh, rated rookie. It's Alex Sanchez.
Yes.
I still like the little cup. I don't know if Topps still does that. I don't buy cards these days, but it's definitely a lot smaller on these 2003. But I love the little cup.
Yes, the Rookie Cup, and Donruss has the rated rookie
Yep.
designation and so on. Always bringing excitement wherever they show up.
I've got 2 T-shirts, one with the rated rookie and one with the Topps rookie on it.
Very nice.
Yeah. Let's see. 5 years in the big leagues for the rated rookie Alex Sanchez. 3 with Milwaukee, 2 with Detroit, 1 with Tampa and the Giants. In 2003, he split time between the Brewers and the Tigers. He ended up hitting .287 to .319 on base, 1 home run, 32 RBI, 84 OPS plus. Not looking good here. And that is good for a WAR of 0. Well, this is good. April 3rd, 2005, he became the first major league player to be suspended for violating the league's newly adopted drug policy for anabolic steroids and other performance-enhancing drugs. So that'll be a minus half a point of WAR for me.
Well, why'd you go and read that far?
Oh, let's see. At the end of his career, he also played for the Charlotte Knights and led the team with a .359 average. The second part of the show is brought to you by the Charlotte Chamber of Commerce. Charlotte, yes. We're more than just the Panthers. The Panthers play.
Charlotte, we're not just a name. We're not just a girl's name.
Or a web.
We're Charlotte.
A web, okay. Yeah. We're more than just the web. And by the way, Charlotte Chamber of Commerce, you are welcome to use that if you want to.
Yeah, no charge.
More than just a web. All right, I'm at 4.4. This might get me some points. I consider him a traitor. I think a lot of A's fans have forgiven him, but it is Jason Giambi.
Yeah, you're right. You might get some points right there. You're going to get a -2, I
think. Well, he didn't have the great years in New York that, he put up good numbers, but what he did in Oakland, I think they were expecting a lot more. 2003, his second year in New York. He was an all-star this year. He led the league in walks and strikeouts, as well as hit by pitches. So you know that on base is going to be good. Overall, he hit .250, a .412 on base. That is very good. 41 home runs, 107 RBI. Wow, his first 2 years in New York, he hit 41 home runs each year. And then it dropped off quite a bit after that. Let's see, a 148 OPS plus, and that equals a 4.8 WAR. Now, I'm guessing he's probably named in the Mitchell report, wasn't he? I know he wasn't suspended.
Well, he was in the Balco scandal, I think.
Well, that we specifically did not say Balco. We said
That's
Mitchell
true.
report. So we'll look this up and see what we can come up with here.
Giambi did speak with George Mitchell after being forced to do so by Bud Selig, but it doesn't say the report.
He wasn't named. He has publicly apologized for using PEDs. Not named.
In December 2007, the Mitchell report included Giambi along with his brother.
Darn it. Well, now you're reading too much. When did you learn to read in the first place?
It was like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, let's see. I'm really surprised video game covers. Does that count? He was on, he was on 5 different video game covers.
Only if one is Mario Kart.
Okay, and he also appeared in The Bronx is Burning on ESPN as a taxi cab driver. So that's going to get me back those Mitchell, that Mitchell money.
There you go.
All right, so I'm at 9.2. I got 2 cards left. Let's see. This is a shortstop for the D-backs. I think I was thinking of this guy just a couple of episodes ago and couldn't remember his name. Tony Womack.
Oh, yeah.
I believe he was on that D-backs team in 2001 that beat the Yankees. Yeah, World Series 2001. Tony Womack, 13 years in the big leagues, 5 with Arizona, 5 with the Bucks, and then a bunch of other teams. In 2003, he split time between the D-backs and the Rockies. Overall, 226, 251 on base, 2 home runs, 22 RBI, 13 stolen bases. That is good for a 40 OPS plus. Oh, I love this game. Let's see. That is good. Well, you know what? It's only good for a minus 1.9 WAR.
Oh, jeez.
How are you playing in professional baseball if you are hurting your team almost 2 complete games versus the average minor league replacement player?
I'm speechless. I'm without speech.
Can I just phone in this season already? Is it too late to call up the reserves from the minors?
No, you got plenty. You got all these moves you can make still.
Can I bring up some Rule 5 players? Jeez, and nothing. No acting. All right. Moving on.
Well, one thing I do want to say about Mr. Womack is he set up Luis Gonzalez's famous game-winning single in Game 7 of the World Series with a game-tying one-out hit against Mariano Rivera.
All right, there you go.
Yeah, 0-1, baby.
All right, my final card. Wow, I really liked this guy. I liked his brother too, but his brother apparently a pretty big scumbag on the do not talk about list. But here it is, also with the Braves. I remember him. I really liked it when he was there. Marcus Giles.
Oh, yeah, Marcus Giles.
Brother of, I think it was Tony Giles. Or no, Brian Giles. Let's see.
Yeah, Brian Giles. Yeah.
Marcus Giles, 7 years in the big leagues, 6 with Atlanta. I did not know he came up with Atlanta. I thought he came up somewhere else. And then a final year with San Diego. In 2003, good news for me, all-star year. I like it. Hit 316, 390 on base, 21 home runs, 69 RBI, 14 stolen bases, a 136 OPS plus. Wow, 7.9 WAR. Plus he was an all-star. That'll make it 8.4. Nothing else on this card, but 8.4, that more than doubles my score.
I did not see that coming.
And that will take me up to 15.7, which is acceptable. I'll take it.
Totally acceptable.
53rd round pick of the Braves in 96.
Wow.
53rd. I think Piazza went before him. That's a lot of rounds.
I think I don't remember many rounds of any other sport going 53.
No, I don't think the NFL draft seems to last like 2 weeks, but I don't think they have 53 rounds.
No, I don't believe so.
Yeah. First home run was a grand slam off of Mark Hampton in 2001. Oh, didn't get a play in the All-Star game, even though he was selected. Suffered a concussion a week prior to the All-Star game when he collided with Mark Pryor. When he collided with Mark Pryor on the base paths. See, that's where that podcasting class paid off. I didn't even know I was doing that, and that just happened.
Well, it's just like a great painter or a great writer. It just comes out. You don't always plan for it, and then you look back and you go, "Man, that was genius."
It was good. All right, so that's going to do it for my cards. Like I said, 15.7, which I guess is okay because half of my cards were negative.
A couple of pretty big negatives.
All right, Mark. So here we go. You are going to start off with an Expo, a junior. It is, his father. I watched play when I first started going to baseball games in Oakland in the 80s. Here is Tony Armas Jr.
Oh, yes.
So let's see. Tony Armas Jr., son of Tony Armas, nephew of Marcos Armas. 10 years in the big leagues, 8 with the Expos/Nationals, 1 with the Mets, 1 with the Bucks. 2003 in Montreal in only 5 appearances. He went 2-1 with a 2.61 ERA, 31 innings, pitched 23 strikeouts, not bad, 174 ERA plus, and that is a 1.3 WAR.
Okay. And you mentioned nephew of Marcos Armas,
yes,
who was with the Oakland Athletics when I was working in the clubhouse in Tacoma. And this guy, he's a big dude. He's like 6'5", and he could hit a ball a long way, towering home runs. And I used to be working, during the game, and he would come running in, and he always called me Mac. Mac, did you see that one I just hit? I'm like, no, I was in here. I hit the tower. Come here. One time, he comes running in. Mac, your wife's throwing the ball. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, there was a game where you had to try and throw a ball through a hole to win a prize. And I'm like, oh, no. So he grabs me and goes running out there, and sure enough, there's my wife, Starla, getting ready to throw the ball. So, and Marcus is a nice guy. He was always coming to get me for some reason or another.
He'd not let you do your job. He's like, come here.
He was a lot of fun, though. I've never seen that guy. Oh my gosh, he got hooked on jalapeno corn dogs once, and he could eat 3 of them. I
thought you were gonna say something else. I'm so glad you said jalapeno hot dogs.
Yeah, jalapeno corn dogs. This guy, 2 bites each corn dog. He'd eat 3 of them. Pump, chomp, pump, chomp. Amazing stuff. I think if he would have taken a little better care of himself, things would have gone better. But those jalapeno corn dogs, they're tempting.
This is an interesting page from Marcos Armas. Positions: first baseman, pinch runner, right fielder.
Pinch runner?
He's listed as 6'5", 190.
Yeah, that's about right.
That's a toothpick. That's a tall dude. Well, yeah, 1 year in Oakland. He did hit a home run in the big leagues. Let's see. Looks like he played in the Mexican League for a little while. Oh, well, he played for Tabasco. It just lists Tabasco, no stats. So I don't know if he just showed up and didn't play or what. So
You're sure it's not a list of his favorite condiments?
Yeah, that might go on the jalapeno corn dogs. I'm not sure. That's a great story.
Marco's a very spicy player.
Well, get this. The Red Sox traded him to the Expos and sent a player to be named later for Carl Pavano. That player to be named later was Pedro Martinez.
Oh,
yeah. So how many people can say that they're related to Tony Armas Sr., Marcos Armas, and was once traded for Pedro Martinez?
Yeah, no, that's solid.
I think only one person can say that. I'm pretty sure.
I believe so, yeah.
All right. Next, you've got pitcher for the Brewers, Ruben Quevedo.
Ruben?
I remember him just because the Brewers in the National League and played the Braves a lot at that point when I was in Atlanta. Let's see, 2003. He 4 years in the big leagues, 3 with Milwaukee, 1 with the Cubs, who he came up with. 2003 was his final year. Went 1-4 with a 6.75 ERA, 42 2/3 innings, 19 strikeouts, 64 ERA plus, and that is a WAR of -0.4.
Oh, nice.
I think this card was meant for my pack. Not sure, but that'll bump you down a little bit there. All right, you are at 0.9. I like it when you're under 1. It's funny when I Google Ruben Quevedo, there's a bunch of headshots of other players, related searches, and the second next to Ruben on my search is Johan Santana, who we mentioned earlier, but I don't know what is going on here. His eyes he looks like an anime character, and he's got a weird look on his face, and he's holding a ball up menacingly. It is a very weird shot. All right, next you've got, I remember this guy. I remember this guy with the Giants who he's pictured with here, but also with the Expos. It's Kurt Roto-Rooter. I think it's pronounced Reader, but I'm going to go with Roto-Reader.
Kurt Reader.
Woody was his nickname because he's got these ears. I will never forget somebody's description of him is that he looks like a car that is driving with the front doors open. His ears are quite protrudable. There's a lot of protruding going on with his ears. 13 years in the big leagues, 10 with the Giants, 4 with Montreal. 2003 with San Francisco, he went 10-5 with a 4.53 ERA, 147 innings, 41 strikeouts, 93 ERA plus, and that is good for a WAR of 0.4.
A big 0.4. It's funny, I typed in his name and it came up and said, "Did you mean Roller Colt?"
Roller Colt?
I'm pretty sure I don't. And I don't even know what that is.
I don't know, but if I got to be in a cult, the Roller Colt sounds like one I'd like to be in.
I Roller Colt? I don't know.
I was thinking more like Roller Derby.
Well, that's that too.
See, that's a fun one. Let's see. Rooter resides in Nashville, Illinois, and his home is famous for its quote-unquote shed, a large recreational facility filled with games and sports memorabilia. Huh.
Wow.
I think we need to go to the shed.
I think that sounds like a place we need to visit.
Yeah. Okay, next you have got you got a Hall of Famer.
Yay.
Congratulations.
I got a chance.
Moose. Here he is with the Yankees, Mike Mussina.
Love him. There's a gentleman that could really pitch a ball game.
Good pitcher, 5-time All-Star, 7-time Gold Glove winner. 18 years in the big leagues, 10 with Baltimore, 8 with the Yankees, 2003 with the Yankees. He only went 17-8, 3.4 ERA, 214 innings, 195 strikeouts, a 130 ERA plus. He won a Gold Glove that year as well, so congratulations on that. And that is going to get you, it's a WAR of 6.6 plus the Gold Glove is 7.1 plus he's a Hall of Famer, so that's an 8.1.
That's what we needed, was a big game out of the Moose.
You throw your ace out there on the mound like that and he comes through.
There you go.
Never won a World Series.
Weird.
Yeah, no ring for Moose. That's kind of weird. First round draft pick by the Orioles in the 1990 draft. Oh, as a senior in high school, just missed being valedictorian.
Oh, that B+ in chemistry.
According to some reports, he intentionally came up short to avoid having to deliver a commencement speech. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, he went to Stanford too. It's where he played. He played his college ball. Born in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Hall of Fame or a Little League World Series played there. Boy, the Steinbrenners are always full of great ideas. Hank Steinbrenner at one point suggested that Mussina should learn how to pitch like Jamie Moyer.
Yeah. If it ain't broke, you should fix it.
Yes. Wow.
Hey, how do I get a credit for him being in the documentary film Wordplay?
I think we specifically said no documentaries, but this one's not about baseball.
No, it's about crossword puzzles.
Yeah, so I think we're going to have to allow it.
I think that's right.
Also collects tractors and vintage cars.
The full-size ones, not the Matchbox.
Yeah. If you're a Hall of Fame baseball player, you collect the full-size ones. If you're not, you probably collect Matchbox. All right, your next card is here with the Rockies, second baseman Brent Butler. Not Brett, Brent. Let's see, Brent Butler, 3 years in the big leagues, all of it with Colorado. His final year was 2003. He appeared in 37 games, played all over the infield, hit 211, 276 on base, 1 home run, 4 RBI, and a 42 OPS plus. I think he did that in honor of Jackie Robinson, and that is good for minus 0.1. Now, for me, I get a minus 1.9. You get a minus 0.1.
Minus 1.9 is pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, do I get any extra points for actually he played the whole year in the big leagues with a minus 1.9 WAR?
You don't get points, you get pointers.
Well, he's got high socks on here, but there's no sanitaries showing, so
Well, the nerve.
Nothing for you there. All right, you've got 3 cards left. You currently stand at 9.8. I finished with a 15.7.
Yeah, I got to make a move.
So it's coming down to it. All right, this might help you here. Here, outfielder with the Mets, Jeremy Burnitz.
That might be a positive.
Let's see. Jeremy Burnitz played for 14 years in the big leagues, 6 with Milwaukee, 4 with the Mets, 2 with Cleveland, and then a bunch of others for 1 year. In 2003, he split time between the Mets and the Dodgers. Overall, he hit 239, 299 on base, 31 home runs, 77 RBI, a 105 OPS plus, and altogether, that is going to get you a 1.1.
Okay. I got to average higher than that, though.
I thought it was going to be a little bit more than that, but I will accept that for you. Traded once for Mariners GM Jerry DiPoto. Also, part of a 3-way trade with Milwaukee, the Mets, and the Rockies. Mark Sweeney involved, Lenny Harris, Glendon Rush, Todd Zeal, my guy Benny Agbayani. Another Hawaiian. He wasn't the flying Hawaiian, but he was another Hawaiian. Good clubhouse guy. It says friendly, laid back. Apparently he was slumping early in 2006, and he didn't run out a grounder the day before. And when asked about the challenges that the Mets were going to face the rest of the year, he said, quote, "I'm your highest paid free agent. That in of itself should tell you the big picture that the team's in."
Confidence.
I like self-deprecation. All right, you've got a rated rookie here, your second to last card. It is none other than catcher for the O's, Geronimo Gil, the Chief. Boy, that's an original nickname. Let's see, Geronimo played for 6 years in the big leagues, 5 with the Orioles and then 1 with the Rockies. 2003, 54 games. He hit 237, 299 on base, 3 home runs, 16 RBI, 63 OPS plus, and you're still going to get a 0.3 out of it.
Something. Well, it's not looking good here. I got to have a miracle card.
So Gil is a catcher, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Wikipedia page says Gil is notable for having 820 career at-bats without a triple.
That's notable.
That's not really notable for a catcher.
That's notable. It's awesome.
He does have 2 career stolen bases, though.
Well, there you go.
All right, so you're at 11.2. I'm at 15.7. Your final card. Oh, no. I love this guy. I loved him on the A's. I really liked him on the A's. He had some good years with the Diamondbacks. Here he is, first baseman, Arubio Durazo.
Oh, well, yeah, I like him too.
Is he going to get you 4.5 points?
I don't think he's going to get me there. Yeah.
All right, let's see. Ruby played for 7 years, 4 with the D-backs, 3 with the A's. In 2003, it was his first year in Oakland. He hit .259, a .374 on base, 21 home runs, 77 RBI, a .113 OPS plus. This is kind of coming down to it. I mean, it's not as dramatic with the pitch clock, but right. It's coming down to it. That will equal a WAR of 1.8. Now, we do need to look. I am not aware that Arubio appeared in many TV or movie roles, but I could be mistaken.
We must do the research.
That's what we're famous for, is doing research.
That's right. Here it is, starred in all 18 of the Herbie the Love Bug movies. So.
Yeah, I was going to say, now, if you'd been on an episode of the A-Team, I would have given you extra bonus points. But no, alack, there is nothing. And you end up with 13 even. And somehow, I come away with a win. Now, if I recall correctly, last year, I got off to a hot start and led even up into the 10-win category. And then I just... I did it and I choked. So,
well, you know what? It's better to start off with a win than a loss, my friend.
Yeah, so, I'm not going to lie. I mean,
the
more games you win in April, the fewer you have to win in September. That's the way I look.
So true.
But all right, congratulations to me. We've got Sunny D and Orange Slices in the clubhouse, so everybody's happy. But that's going to do it for our opening day of Wax Packs Heroes, season 5. We're going to wrap up that. We're going to wrap up the show. If you want more of us, you can find us on all the social medias. We are at 2 Strike Noise. That is 2 Strike Noise, TWO Strike Noise. You can find them, well, we're everywhere. Hopefully we'll get a little bit more activity on the social medias. It's been really busy with for both of us with baseball starting up. So hopefully we can focus on that a little bit more. Mark, there's also an email address that the Troy, Michigan Chamber of Commerce is trying to reach us at.
That's right. You can reach us at 2 Strike Noise, spell it out, TWO Strike Noise, at gmail.com.
And that's right. Lars was trying to reach us as well with the sponsorship opportunities.
Lars, that's Mark with a K, okay? And Johnston with a T. Just go ahead and
none of that's really needed for 2strikenoise at gmail.com, but throw it out there anyway.
I thought he might want to reference me in a proper manner.
Individually, okay. Okay, well, that'll do it for this show. Hey, everybody, we really appreciate it. This was a fun show. We love talking about baseball. We love talking about and reminiscing about baseball as well as what's going on today. So we really do appreciate everybody that listens every week. I hope everybody's enjoyed this first week of Major League Baseball in 2023 as much as we did. And you know what? We're going to do it again next week. We'll see you on the next episode of 2 Strike Noise.
Thank you. God bless you. Have a great day.